Hello and welcome to the stream. I'm Sami Laakso from Snowdale Design, and in this stream I will be demoing, so telling the rules, and then we'll be playing together our upcoming game Lands of Galzyr. And if anyone could just shout in the chat if the picture and audio and video everything is fine, it would be really nice to know. And you can also say if the music is too loud or too quiet, and I can adjust those if needed. So yep, everything is great. That's nice to hear. So Lands of Galzyr is our upcoming game. It will be on crowdfunding, either GameFound or Kickstarter, late this summer, and it's an open world game where you're an adventurer and you're exploring and roaming through Lands of Galzyr, and you can basically do anything you like, meet new folks, and to do quests and all kinds of cool and neat stuff, which we'll be exploring today. The game supports both cooperative and competitive gameplay for 1 to 4 players. So today I'm going to play a solo game, and all you in the chat can join me to make decisions on where you want to go, what you want to do, and so forth. The previous time I did a stream of this, we had way less content created for the game, so it was quite limited of what we can do. But this time we have prepared a whole ton of content, and you should really be able to see what the game is about and what we can do in the game. So let's go to the table, and here we have the game set up over here, the game board. The game, I should say that everything you see is prototype components, so there's some missing artwork, like the game board is quite bare bones at the moment, but we're polishing that right now and making everything look a lot nicer for the campaign. So here's the Galzyr and all the different locations, like Meratut, the forest, and Rienstum, a large sovereign city, and so forth. And in the game we play as one of 4 adventurers. We have AwSHUX, the river kingfisher, and we're going to play as her during this game. The other available characters that we would be able to play, maybe I'll show it like this. So we could also play as Moor, the frilled lizard, or Bumir, the marble polecat, and the 4th option would be Keridai, the northern banded newt. So as we are going to have 3 streams during the weekend, we'll be exploring different Galzyr with different adventures each time, and in this first one we are going to play as AwSHUX, the river kingfisher. So let's go back to the table, and I'll see how I can set up everything that you can see it well. You don't really need to see this too much. It's a whole ton of cards in a card tray, and they're numbered, so I can fetch whatever we need in the game. So I'll put that off screen, so we'll have more space for more important stuff. So the game is quite straightforward, so I think we're going to jump quite fast into the game, and then I will explain stuff as we go. During setup we have these 2 cards called Discord and Harmony, and depending on if we play cooperatively or competitively, we will pick one of these. So with solo we must play like cooperatively, so we'll take this Harmony card and return the other one to the game box. So I'll do just that, and then it has this timed effect let's see here, the blue box, and it has an X over here, and you can see that based on player count we'll be playing different number of rounds basically. So currently we are playing a solo game, so I will place it to 12. So whenever we have these timer boxes, we'll have to take two timer tokens, so a pair. I have more of those over here. So one goes to the calendar, as many spaces in the future as the number stated in the timer box, and another then covers the number. But in order to know what day we're starting with, we'll have to consult the storybook, and Lands of Galzyr will require a modern device like an iPad or any tablet device, or you can use your phone or computer, anything you like. And it's basically a web page that you can also install on your device, so you can play offline, and you don't need internet access after downloading it. And it's basically only a digital storybook, and acts as such, because if we would have printed all the stuff, it would be like over 500 or 600 pages or something crazy, and it's much more functional and easier to use as a digital version, and we'll explore that really soon as well. So when you open the storybook, the first thing is that you have to begin a new game, and we have a month card on over here, and it currently says that we are playing May. Each game in Lands of Galzyr is a single month, so currently we are playing May, and I'll just choose it here, and then it will automatically randomize the starting day for us. Let's move those so they will be seen nicely. So it randomized our starting day to be Thursday, and now I can mark it as such here on the game board and move these 12 spaces to the future. So that's 2 weeks, so that's 14, and 12 would be here, and then I can cover it over here. And welcome to the stream, Keith, co-leader, keymaster, and one board family. Glad to have you here, and excited to show the game to you all. Now we have set up the calendar to begin, and we see how many turns we have left until the game ends, and we have the current month. Then we have our own adventure board showing our skill marks. More on those later. They are linked to the skill dice that we used during skill checks. And then we have our own adventure status. So each character has their own special ability. This card shows that. So basically AwSHUX can fly really fast when we wish to do so. Let's move those somewhere like here, because this is our inventory below our adventure board. So I will keep that empty for now, because we don't have any items to begin with. And Collider says that it looks gorgeous, and the flavor of Day of Merchant and story in Dawn of Peacemakers has he excited to explore the world. That's really nice to hear. This is the most story-heavy game that we have so far. Dawn of Peacemaker is also packed full of stories, but this is even more so. And then we have these quest cards. So what an adventure game would be without quests. And we have this friend in need. This was in our own adventure save slot, so we begin with this one. So it says that with the help of a friend, you've come to Galzyr for a fresh start. It is time to leave your old life behind and experience the adventures you've always yearned for. And it says that during setup we must place our figure on this card. Usually we would be able to start from any of these named locations on the game board, but in our first game we don't add any adventure. We are going to have to start off map because we are not actually yet in Galzyr. So let's put that here, and it also says that we cannot abandon this quest. Usually you can abandon any quest cards, but for our starting quest we can't do that. What else do I want to introduce? Well, starting play token doesn't matter too much in a solo game. Then we have an event deck, more on that a bit later. And here we have on the bottom, they're not quite visible, I have three quest cards, and this is called a notice board. It always hosts 3 or more quest cards, and they show the pickup location, and they're also marked here on the map. So we have Arhin, Rienstum, and one quest in Chabar that we could go and pick up, but we're not on the game board yet, so let's not worry about those quite yet. I have some more additional quest tokens that we can use to show where the quests are, where we can pick up some quests. But I think that should be quite enough already for us to start playing. So each round is, as I told, each game is a single month, and each round is a single day in the game world, marked here on the calendar. And during each round, all players will first have a travel phase where they can move their adventure figure up to 2 spaces on the game board. All of these named locations are counted as a single space. So I could here, for example, move 1 and 2 if I would like to move past Rienstum, or I could stop here or move none at all. All of those are valid options. But our first turn, we are not on the game board, so we are going to skip our travel phase and go straight to the story phase. And in story phase, we are going to begin and complete a single scene from the story book of adventures, and we can take our stories or these scenes from multiple different places. We can visit these named places here on the game board, like here's a wishing well, arena, docks, market, and so forth. We can also do quests as long as the prerequisites for the scenes are met. This is the only one we can take at the moment. The quest cards here have also these scenes that we can take, but I'll explain those once we get our hands on more quest cards. And one final place to take quest scenes is that if we do not want to visit any of the places, or we are traveling from a location here between locations, we can begin a scene from the event deck. I'll show that once we do that. But our first turn, we are going to during our story phase, we are going to do the scene written on our starting quest card. Here at the bottom, start your adventure, and it says 0086. So that's our first scene that we'll take. So here we have the storybook. I'll place it here. It's quite nice. So we have the scene list here on the left. So we'll simply scroll and find 86 over here. Standing at the top of the plank leading ashore, you view the busy docks below. Folks carrying cargo, negotiating passage, or just loitering, shouting, laughing, living their lives. You want to step down and join them, but this short symbolic step from the ship means so much more. It means starting your life anew, leaving your troubled past behind. The past your new friend so kindly pulled you from. She should be waiting for you by the tavern, supposedly the worst Rienstum has to offer. Will you move already? The captain shouts behind you. Or do you wanna go back or something? Well, we don't have any options, or we don't have multiple options. We have just a one, so we'll just step ashore and go meet our friend. Walking through the seaside street, Your mind wanders back to your benefactor. You cringe now thinking back on how you met, yourself caught in act of trying to steal from her. You could have ended up in a jail again, or worse, but instead she listened, showed compassion, and helped you out of some serious trouble. You don't fully understand how she did it or why, and it took you a while to be able to trust her. You spot a tavern, brewing toad, and your friend awaiting you. She's wearing a hood, but you can't mistake that beak. Her eyes light up as she finally sees you, and she greets you warmly. Here, I brought you something. Welcome to Galzyr, Ausala. So then we have some rules, and the brown cursive text is always story, and then we have rules after that. And if the rule is marked with a cyan color, like all these 3 rows, then the person who's reading the story doesn't need to read those out loud, but just do whatever the text tells them to do. So we're first going to move the adventure figures, so our figure, to Rienstum. So let's do that. So this is Rienstum, and as I told, all these cards are counted as a single location, so it doesn't matter where we place our figure on those. Then we are given a random card number 150 from the library, and for that I'll just go to the library and take all the cards numbered 150, give them a shuffle, and pick one at random. I'll return the rest back to the library, and as I told, some of these cards are not quite complete yet. So here we have what we got, a present from our friend. Let's see if I can focus it. Should focus soon. Yep. So we got an umbrella. It's not. It has some placeholder text, but we can use it to convince, fight, or explore. And it has 2 tags here on the top: unfold and pole. I place it here under our adventure board in our inventory. We have space for 3 items in our inventory. And then we are also given card number 281. Yep. And that one, let's see if I can show it better like this. Yep. So we got Nara, our friend, also doesn't have a story text written for it, I apologize. But in those 10th skill checks, so that it's a survival skill, we would get a single success, and if we sneak or intimidate something or someone, we may reroll up to 2 dice. And then it has also this timed effect with a number 5. And as we already learned, let's make room like this. We're going to take 2 timer tokens. So I take these 2 identical ones and place one 5 days forward, 3, 4, 5, and then another one here to cover the number. So now we know that when the day token reaches the chameleon icon, in this case, we're going to do whatever this box tells us to do. So in this case, it says discard, so Nara will leave us after 5 days. And then the storybook has a button, and we'll just continue. You have your wits, but to make it here, you'll need more than that. Nara blabbers on as the 2 of you tour the city's market. Wouldn't hurt to try to make a good impression, or to pick up a book every once in a while. You do know how to read, right? But most importantly, be careful out there. I'd like to keep you company for a while if that's okay, for both our sakes. You notice her grimace briefly at the last bit, but before you can ask her about it, she excuses herself to visit one of the stalls nearby, which seems to offer camping equipment. Left alone for a moment, you look around at the busy market, curious about this foreign city you've ended up in. What are these folks like? And here, whenever we have multiple options, like now we have 2 options, we can either observe the folks at the market, or we can recall what you know about Riensum. Whenever you see those on the screen, you're free to write in the comments of what you would like us to do. So if you want to observe or recall, and they have these bubbles at the end of them. One of them says medium with an I symbol, and the other one reads easy with a book icon. So those are skill checks. And for those, we are going to consult our player adventure board with our skill marks, and they will grant us access to these skill dice. We will always start with these dark black skill dice. They have a single success for all these 6 skills, and then these can grant us access to better dice. So here, for example, these perception skill dice have 2 doubles of the skill, and then it also has 2 of both of the side, the adjacent skills. So perception has communication on one side and thievery on the other. So it has also 2 thievery. So they are a lot better for the primary skill, and better than, and a little bit better than actually double of these for the adjacent skills as well. Let's see. One board family tells that now they get the calendar, and they really like it. It's an elegant, simple mechanic. Thank you. And yeah, it's really nice, and it's super easy to keep track of everything. Just with a single look, you can see how long it takes for stuff to happen. And like now, you can see that Chameleon happens on next Tuesday, and we know that Nara will leave our side then. And with this Echidna icon, we know that 1 week from Nara leaving us, we're going to take a scene number 200, and that's the scene that will end the game for our solo game. And we have 3 votes for observing, so let's do exactly that. And for the skill checks, we always first take these 5 black ones, and then we can replace any of these with the dice that we have access with our skill marks. And in this case, we can use both of these. Let's replace 2 with perception dice, and as I showed, the advanced skill dice also help with the adjacent ones. So we do want to change this one more for the thievery skill dice, because it has 2 perception icons on it. So for skill check, after we have created our dice pool, we are simply going to roll all the dice, and then we see what we got, and we have a single reroll where we can reroll everything. So even like now we have a single success and the second one, we have 2 successes. If we want to take the reroll, we have to roll all the dice again. And now we might be able to use some of our items. And with Umbrella, if we were going to convince, fight, or explore, we could use it, but we're observing. And I forgot, I also should have clicked it like that. So now we know that we are observing right now. And during skill checks, you're also free to sell if you want to reroll or use some items and stuff like that. Now I'm not quite sure if we want to reroll. Maybe we have 3 different difficulties in the game for the skill checks. We have easy, medium, and hard. Quite self-explanatory. And for those, the minimum number of successes you want to achieve is 1, 2, and 3. So with medium, we would like to get at least 2, which we currently have here. But for pretty much all the skill checks in the game, there's even better outcomes if we get more than the minimum. But that ceiling for that is also always a bit unknown. So we don't know if we now want to get 3 or 4 or maybe even 5 to get the best possible outcome. So we could now either be happy with 2 or reroll everything. Nara would help us if we were doing some survival skill checks, or if we sneak or intimidate, but we're not doing neither of those right now. Let's see if I can fit her here like that. So I don't see any votes for either, so I think we can play it safe for now and just be happy with our two successes. And after basically locking our skill check and not rolling or using items anymore, then we can reveal the outcomes. And we pick the first from the left that matches our result. So in this case, it's between 2 and 3. The market is even busier than the docks were. You look on as a plethora of different folks do business. There's plenty of polecats, but you also spot lemurs, monitors, ocelots, ducks, and many more. However, your inquisitive gaze sets on a group of armed vultures slowly approaching, clearly looking for something in the crowd. Or someone. Something in their forceful demeanors causes every instinct you developed over the years to scream danger. Interrupting her haggling, you point the vultures out to Nara, whose face crunches with worry. Them again, she says. They've tried to catch me once already. I'm afraid they're after you too. One of the vultures seem to have spotted you, and they start to wade through the crowd towards you. We have to get out of here, Ausala. So there was now we have 2 options. We can either try to sneak away through the crowd, and Nara would help us by we would be able to reroll 2 dice, or we can try to convince the folks around to help us, and with that we have our pretty umbrella, and with convince it will let us reroll up to 3 dice. There's some questions. Nader asks, what's the distribution for the eyes? So for all the different advanced skill dice, which are these colorful, not the black ones, there's always 2 doubles of the main skill that they are linked to, and then there are 2 singles for both of the adjacent ones. So the perception has thievery on one side and communication on the other, so it has 2 thievery and also 2 communication. And the basic dice have just a single for all the 6 skills in the game. We have 2 votes for sneak, so let's try to sneak away through the crowd. And it's a medium skill check, so we would like to get at least 2. So those are the dice that we are going to use, and Nara has an ability where we can reroll up to 2 of the 2 dice, and all these abilities on any of the cards we can use either before the first roll, after the first roll, or even after the reroll. So basically any time during the skill check. And we're trying to sneak away, so we're looking for these thievery symbols, and we got 3 already, and I'd say that at least I'm quite happy with that. This has a single side, this has a single side, and this has two singles, so I would not go and reroll everything. Probably would get less by that. But now we can consult Nara and see if she can help us. Yeah, one board family is agreeing that we should keep this. So we will reroll up to 2 dice. So let's pick the perception and the common die to reroll. And unfortunately, she didn't help us this time, but we still have 3. I just noticed that we have too much gold. We should have 10 to begin the game. Yeah, so we can see our gold value here. But now we are trying to sneak away through the crowd, and we got 3 successes, and that gives us the middle one. So close that I was hoping really that Nara could help us a little bit, but not this time. You dive into the crowd and do your best to avoid the vulture's eyes as you escape the market. They catch sight of you once or twice but can't keep up, and eventually you manage to lose them completely. They are some upstart group, Nara whispers to you at a safe distance while you watch the vultures frantically search for you. You can probably guess why they're after us. You can indeed. Looks like you weren't quite done with your past just yet, but you would definitely find a way to lose them for good and then begin your life anew, your new life in earnest. Alright, so we got a single prestige, which is actually the goal of the game. So we have here a prestige track, and we got a single prestige. So the goal of the game is to gather as much prestige as we can. So basically becoming as famous as possible. With a solo game or a cooperative game mode, we are just going to count all our prestige gathered to, and then see how well we did in the final scene, number 200. And if we would play competitively, we would play up to someone gets the required number of prestige based on the player count, which is printed on the game board. Not quite well visible on the camera, but 4 players would end when someone gets 6 prestige, and then with 3 players 8, and with a 2-player game when someone gets 2 prestige. But we got a single one right now. And then we were going to return a friend in need, card number 111, which is our starting quest here. So back to the library, and I'll just place it in the correct spot. They are ordered in numerical order. Then we are going to get card number 61, which here is a card called Determined. Let's see if it focuses. And as you can see, it's no matter what kind of hardships await, you feel like you can take it all with the strength and vigor of 3 spectacled bears. And in a skill check, we may discard this card, so placing it back to the library, to get a single success. And if we would get an afraid status, we would be forced to discard this card to return the afraid. And it also has 2 tags called Resolute and Upbeat. So for items, we have the inventory, and we have room for 3 cards. And as for these status cards, there's no limit on how many we can have. So currently we have our starting one, the Soar in the Sky, which during travel we may discard this to move even more, and we also now get the Determined. So let's place, like, for example, like that, or maybe here so it's better visible. Yep. And then we also get a card number 268. If I can find it from here. It should be the next part of the quest, but I might have misplaced it into somewhere else. But it doesn't matter too much because the card is the scene for this. So we should have got now the second part for the quest, for the friend in need, and it would lead us to Teshune. But unfortunately it's not quite ready yet, so we wouldn't able to play that anyway. So we're going to skip getting that card, unfortunately, for this. So you would have to play the game yourself to figure out what happens next during AwSHUX beginning starting quest. Welcome to the stream, offline gamer. Glad to have you here. And then it's end of scene. And after all players have taken their turns, we're going to simply move to the next day by moving the day token on the game board as well as on the storybook. And now we have a new round and we can actually move. So during our travel we may move up to 2 spaces. But before that we have this quest token here as a reminder that the notice board, a bit off screen, maybe I'll squeeze it here. So we have a notice board where we can pick up quests if we are in the correct locations. For Rienstum, we have a quest with a story text of "My fruitful plan calls for execution. Success in it will lead to fame and glory for both of us." Signed by Olamide the Dodo. So I don't see no reason. I see no reason not to pick this up. So let's do that, and we can remove this from the game board as there's no quest on the Rienstum. And on the other side, it's a quest card like this. So on the top we can see that the quest name is Fertile for Fame, and there's a renowned gentlefolk club in Sarevar that I visit regularly to meet with my elite friends. The hottest new trend is to show off by owning expensive and exotic fruits. Yauri, my contact in Hesembi, is renting pineapples. Can you get me one before joining me at Sarevar? Again, signed by Olamide, the Dodo entrepreneur. And if we want to start resolving this quest, we have to be in Hesembi, which is here on the bottom right. And there we can meet Yauri. It also has this handshaking icon over here next to the scene, which simply means that we could bunch up with another adventurer. They could assist me as a partner if they are on the same space here. But during solo game there's no assisting, but with multiple players it would be possible to resolve the scene with another player. You can do that even in the competitive game, so it's a great way to catch up if someone is getting too much ahead, so you can resolve quests together with someone else to try to catch up. So that's one option that we can now try to pursue. So we could slowly go towards Hesembi. We could also go and pick up new quests from Arhin or Chabar, as well as now we have to fill up the notice board. So for that, the card tray has this. Which way I should point it? Like here. You can see the numbers going from 0 up to 150, 200 and so forth. We have this quest slot at the very front, and whenever the notice board has less than three quests, we take from the front here and take a new quest and fill the notice board up. So we got a new one and it says Sarevar, so I'll place this as a reminder here, so we know that we can pick up another quest from there. Nighter is asking, does the difficulty change in the solo game when you don't have authors available to help? So the game is basically, the difficulty in any scene is basically the same, but in the scene, the 200, which we play once the game is over, or basically to end the game, over here. That one will ask how many players there are in the game, and it will take that into account when it grades our success in the game. So the less there are players, the less prestige you need to gather to get the best possible outcome, for example. But there are actually quite multiple different grades that you can get depending on how much prestige you get, but it's taken, the number of players has been taken into account in the scene that will grade our success. So now we have some options, or actually quite a lot. We can, for example, we can stay in Rienstum, we can visit different places in there, we can go towards Arhin to pick up new quests, we can go to Yetsten, we can go towards Chabar or Sarevar to pick up new quests. We can go towards Hesembi to resolve our Fertile for Fame quest. So if you have any wishes on what you would like us to do, you can shout right in the chat. The game is quite, as I told, an open world where you can do whatever you wish and go wherever you want. In Rienstum we have various places. We have Arena, we have Market, Convention Center, Casino, Wishing Well and Docks if we want to visit any of those. Nigel really likes the dice system, and it's great and simple implementation of a dice pool. That's nice to hear that you like it. Keymaster is recommending to go Hesempi for fame and glory. Nigel saying Hesempi, and then we can go to Chabar. That sounds like a plan. So we can start walking towards Hesempi, and it would take like first here and then over here, and on the third turn we would end up in Hesempi. We can also spend our special ability to give us +4 movement if we want. So it would be like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then our original 1, 2. So in a single turn we could fly all the way to Hesempi if we wanted to spend our special ability, which is one-time use per game. But here's a save effect which happens at the end of each game. So we will get our number 000, which is our special ability, back. So we'll get to saving after the game is over. But for now, would you like us to go slowly or flying our way to Hesempi? Neither is saying giving a vote for fly, so flying it is. So here's a closer look at Soar in the Sky, and as exhausting as it may be, nothing beats the mobility of a flying animal folk. Leaving the past behind isn't anything new to AwSHUX. Keymaster is now saying that we should go slowly. And yeah, with Soar in the Sky, it does say that we would have to return any companions without flight back to the library. And we can't use this if we are restricted for any reason. So, but Nara does have a flight tag on her, so we would fly together. It would be not a problem. And well, votes are 1 and 1, but neither was faster. So let's fly and worry about not flying and going slowly later. So with one fell swoop, we will end our travel phase in Hesempi, and I will return this Soar in the Sky back to the library. And now we could visit some of the Hesempi's places, which are docks, theater, market, and mines. But I think we are here for fame and glory, so we're going to resolve this quest. Fertile for fame. Here at the bottom it says card number. We will go into take scene 102. And Keymaster, you don't have to worry about seeing countryside interactions and events. We're going to do that a lot after this, because we're so exhausted from the flying we can't do that anymore. So we have to walk like a peasant from place to place from now on. But let's go to the storybook and find scene 102 here. Uncle Yauri's choice is in a cozy corner store of the market district. Yauri is an old but active fruit bat, climbing around the rafters while balancing a tray in his wing to serve juice to his many customers before coming out to talk to you. A lot of rich folks have started asking me for exotic fruit recently. Yauri strokes his note as he ponders your request for a pineapple. Uncle Yauri is happy to provide, but they don't even eat them. They just display them, they then give them back, returned in the fruit rental company. Unfortunately, his waiting list is many weeks long. Glad you could join our stream for a while, Niger, and have a good night. So now we're asked if we have a tourism tag, and tags are printed on many of the cards. Like here's an example. On Nara you can see that she has a friend and flight tag, but we also have streetwise and flight on our adventure board, which we can't lose. Then we have unfold and pole and resolute and upbeat, but none of those are tourism. So we're going to click no here. And now we have two options. We can either convince Yauri to rent us a pineapple, which is a medium communication check, and we're not too good at that. We have these adjacent perception skill dice that could help us a little bit, and we also have umbrella, which can help us convincing rerolling 3 dice. So we could have quite a lot of rerolls for a dice, so it should be possible to get two successes, or we can just make a small donation to Jari by giving half of our gold to him. We have 10 at this moment. Keith asks how many different tags there are in the game, and there's quite a bunch. I don't have the number, the exact number, but I'd say something like a 50 or so. And many of the cards do share some of the same tags. So some other items can have a pole tag, for example, as well. Well, 2 votes for convince, so let's do that. And let's remove this thievery die because it has no communication in it, and add 1 basic skill die to replace it, and see how we do. We got a single success over here, so now it's a tough decision. Do we want to use our umbrella to reroll three of those dice, or do we want to first do the full reroll in hopes of getting better success? I mean, I'm kinda happy to use the umbrella because we got the success from one of these basic skill dice, so we could reroll both of these perception skill dice. So it should be quite nice odds of getting to the 2 with using umbrella to reroll only 3. And if you don't hate me for doing that, I'm not sure if it's playing safe or not, but I'll make the decision to use the umbrella now. And if we still fail, we can try to reroll all of them, even afterwards. Oh, we got as one additional, so now we're at 2. Now we could reroll everything, but 2. We should be really happy with 2 with these dice. It's not too easy to get more. So let's see what happens with 2 and 3. You offer Jari a favor for a favor should he do you the kindness of lending you a pineapple. The old fruit bat calls for someone inside the store. A few moments later, a large tiger comes out. This is Reija, Jari gestures in introduction. He'll bring you to my usual pineapple supplier. Pick some up for me and you can have 1 as a thank you. Oh, and something I almost forgot. We also have this determinate. So at any point during any skill check, we may discard this to get a single success. So if we are in a pinch, we can use our determination to get a single success. But wasn't really smart to do now, unless we would hope that 3 would be enough for the major success. But glad we did what we did. And then let's continue. The riverside warehouse is filled with busy folks carrying fruit crates fresh from the docks and orchards of Hesembi, or loading them on the rafts bouncing on the banks of the Iroga River. Pineapples, says a smiling weasel. Yeah, I just happen to have a new shipment, but someone offered to pay double on it. Sorry to Jari, but if you match the new offer, they're yours. Jari didn't give you enough to cover the difference, but there are other ways to get that crate. Reija winks as he elbows you in the ribs. Ow. Alright, we had 3 options. We can either pay the difference, 6 gold. Well, actually, we can. We still have 10 left, so we would be at 4 gold after that. Or we can try to sneak inside. That would be a hard hard skill check thievery, but we have quite nice dice, and we have still Nara with us, and with sneaking we can reroll up to 2 dice. Our umbrella doesn't help us in sneaking, or we can try to force our way through the fence, but we don't have any. We have 2 adjacent dice for that, but we have way better dice for the sneaking. So I'd say that we're going to sneak our way in and pick some pineapples from the darn weasel. I don't feel like paying our hard-earned gold that weasel. So if you don't object, I'll start and try to sneak in later. So it would be those on. Let's wait just a second if someone has different ideas what we should do. Keith says that it's a tough decision and sneaking sounds good. Paying would be safe, I think, but I don't think I won't want to pay that weasel. So let's go and sneak inside later. We're already at 3 successes, so that's enough to already have 3 for the hard. And then we have Nara, and with her we can reroll up to 2 dice. So let's do that. Move those so I don't crash into them. Oh, even 2 more. Now Nara is actually helping us a ton. So we are sitting at 5 successes. We could spend our determinate status to get even 1 more, but I think 5 should be enough. Fingers crossed. I think we want to save this for some tough place where we get a failure, and we can try to avoid that. Oh, 5 is just barely enough. An experienced scoundrel like yourself never has to pay inflated prices. Indeed. You doubt this second buyer even exists to begin with. Your roving eyes spot a crate filled with the telltale spiky leaves. You're in the warehouse yard in seconds. You and Rhea easily hustling the crate away without anyone seeing. And don't forget, Nora is helping us as well. Silently, you exit the area, carrying the crate until the busy warehouse sounds fade away. I've got it from here, Rhea grins, chuckling you the promised pineapple. Haven't had a thrill like that in a while. You feel amazing about having snuck off the pineapples from right under that smug weasel's nose. So, tell me about that. We got 2 prestige, so we're up to 3. I should have turned that off. So now we have 3 prestige, and we're going to return the card 120 back to the library. I'll do that. And afterwards we are going to get card number 61, or actually determined is card 61, so whenever we would get a double status we simply ignore it and refresh it if there's some effect that needs refreshing. So we actually already determined. That's a little bit of bad luck, but I don't think we are too unhappy about that in this our situation. And then we also get a card number 121. And finally it says that if we would have a partner, they would also get the prestige and they would also get the determined status. Here's the card number 121. So it's the second part of Fertile for Fame, and with a hard-earned pineapple in your possession, you're ready to help Olamide impress his friends. Meet him at the Gentlefolk in Sarevar. And we can now, if we are at Sarevar, we can meet Olamide there for the scene 103. And that was our turn, and we're going to move to Saturday, and here we are going to, of course, end the scene and move to Saturday as well. And then for our next turn, someone suggested that we are even before seeing this one, that we would move to Chabar from Hesembi, and I think that's quite a nice plan, as we can then resolve our Fertile for Fame quest there, and even pick up the new one over here, which is at Chabar. So that's quite nice, I think. We could also visit some of the places in Hesembi, but there was also a wish for the countryside events. So let's move towards Chabar. So our travel will be 1 and 2. And Keith asks why the Saturday and Sunday have pink spots on the calendar, and it's basically just to mark that it's a weekend in Galzyr at that time, and there might be some differences in some of the scenes based if it's a weekday or a weekend. So basically that. So now when we can't take a scene from anywhere else, or we don't want to, then we are going to draw a card from the event deck, and they look like this, and we are going to look at it. Has a list of scenes available, and we are going to pick the first one matching our current situation from the top towards the bottom. So first, is it Thursday? No, it's Saturday. And then based on the terrain type we are on, are we in a settlement? No. Are we in grasslands? No. Forest? No. And hill, second to the last, we are at hills. So we're going to take the scene number 154. And we'll leave this event card somewhere on the table for the duration of the scene, and we'll either place it back on the bottom of the quest deck or something else, depending on what the storybook tells us to do. But for now, we are going to go to the storybook and see the event 154. Heading down a winding road through hilly terrain, your path forks, divided by a sign. Handwritten in sloppy white paint with an arrow pointing to the right, the sign claims that help is needed to fix a well, and a hot meal will be given as salary for the work. The sign also points in the same direction, that a farm is at the end of this road. And now we have two options. We can either visit the farm or simply ignore the sign. But I think the farm is calling for us. Warm lunch wouldn't turn down one of those. So let's go and visit the farm. It might not hurt to take a detour from your journeys and see about fixing this well. Heading down the road, you know you are growing closer when you see fields of grazing livestock on one side of you and rows of crops on the other. At the end of the road is a manor with a polecat out front looking at the topless well. Introducing himself with a smile, the polecat asks if you are here to help with the well, and his smile widens when you confirm as much. The well is missing any covering or pulley, and peering down the well you can see the whole upper structure has broken off and has fallen into the well. A rope tied to the fallen pulley is held by the polecat. Been trying to hold the thing back up here. When it got stuck, my cousin was brave enough to climb down there, but he slipped and fell in the water. He's in bed resting now from the cold he caught. Alright, we have two options. We can either try to track the pulley up from the well, which is medium might skill check, and for that we have no primary dice, but we have two of the adjacent ones. or we can climb into the well, and if we do that, each light tag would give us a single success, but we don't have any light tags in our cards. And if we do climb into the well, Nara would help us quite a lot, as in with any survival skill checks, she gives us a single success. So basically the climbing would be an easy skill check for us. And we have a single advanced skill dice for that skill check if we want to. And we also have the determined, which would give us a single success if we are in a pinch. And Keith is agreeing that we should go down into the well. So let's remove those, as we're finally doing something else. So with these we have everything we have access to, and that's that's 0. So I don't think anyone disagrees with me rerolling everything. And well, that's 1. Our yellow die let us down, but even with 1 success, we are now with Nara we are at 2. So I don't think we want to spend our determination here. So let's go with 2 successes. Hardening your heart, you climb down into the cold darkness below and reach the jammed pulley. Beating on it, it gives and falls free, but takes you with it. Frigid waters rush into your throat as you plummet down and struggle back to the surface for air. Holding onto the pulley and keeping it from catching on anything, the polecat pulls both of you up to the ground. Here, let me get you a warm meal for your troubles, the polecat says. He gives you a delicious dish and some gold for helping, but a chill has set into you. Well, that didn't go quite as planned, but we did get the pulley up from the well, and for that we get 1 prestige. We're currently at 4, and we also get 2 gold for helping. So we will rotate our spinner to have 12, and then we get card number 55 and card number 58. That's a lot of cards. So here we have, so that's end of scene. I'll already move us to the next day, both here on the game board and here in the storybook. And 55 is freezing, and thanks to your recent adventures, you're cold to the bone, a walking ice cube. And we can use only a maximum of 3 dice in a skill check, but if we would get a warm tag, we could discard this, but also after 3 days it gets discarded. But for now we're just freezing. But we're also, from the meal we got, we're also vigorous, so full of energy that you find it hard to stay still, searching for ways to exhaust your vigor somewhere. When traveling, we may discard to get a +1 movement, or if we have exhausted status, we can also discard this to return to the library. Or finally, if we force, intimidate, or run, we can discard to get a single success. So quite a few ways to use the vigorous status. Let's move the dice. I don't think, no, I'll just move them off screen. I can pick them up from there. So we are vigorous, freezing, and determined. And for the freezing, we'll take some tokens, and I think Penguin is quite appropriate for this one. So 3 days from now, and we actually got it on Saturday, so it's 1, 2, and 3. On the same day, we are going to Nara is going to leave us the same day that we are not freezing anymore. If there are multiple, we'll just place them on top of each other and resolve all of them once the day comes. Key Master is saying also the well master. Well, we did got a freezing out there, and I think Nara got there down with us and not too happy about that either. So now the next day it's Sunday, and we have the opportunity to go to Sarevar and meet Olamide with our hard-earned pineapple, and I think we can do that right now. So let's move over there, and we're at Sarevar, so why not? We can also pick up the quest from there, and we're going to put a new quest on the notice board. It's at Chabar, so I'll just move this here to 2 quests that could be picked up from Chabar. The new quest that we picked up says that aid in enforcing law and contracts requested. One of my properties is being occupied by disruptive and harmful tenants. Signed by Sarevarian noble. So then on the other side, on the front, on the private side, one of my tenants in Chabar hasn't paid her rent for quite some time. She refuses to leave the house despite my warnings and disturbed. And now my cat is disturbing me. Don't. He's trying to like fall down the lights. Kenzie, please. Okay. Well, now we're turning into a cat stream, and for that I think it's appropriate to do this. Can you purr here? No. Yeah, you can do this. Let's go back to the game. So this was the card that we picked up. Let's see. She refuses to leave the house despite my warnings and disturbs the neighborhood. Gerald, a Chabarian caretaker, will give further instructions on how to handle the matter once you meet him at my property. Signed by Karhos, the striped polecat noble. And it can be resolved in Chabar. Well, we are in luck if we want to go there, as there's 2 quests to be picked up there. And also for the event, if the storybook says doesn't say anything else, we'll just place it back on the bottom of the quest deck. But now we can continue resolving our fertile for fame quest and meet Olamide at Sarevar's Gentlefolk Club. That's the scene 103. 103. Olamide is outside the Gentlefolk Club as agreed and is ecstatic to see his promised pineapple. He invites you in as his personal pineapple protector, but requests that you do not speak unless spoken to. The massive club is filled with the rich and powerful, holding conversation and nibbling aperitifs. Each has an attending butler or valet carrying coconuts, bananas, kiwi fruit, and in one case a durian. Olamide rushes to a female beaver in an exquisite gown. "You'll never believe it! I have a pineapple as well now!" "Well, let me see," she cries. Olamide turns to you expectantly, but you realize that the pineapple is missing from your backpack. "A thief!" Olamide cries in horror. The club is soon filled with whispers. thievery? Here, unacceptable. And it asking if we have a toxic tag, and doesn't seem like such. None of our cards have that, so no. And I apologize, the scene is a little bit under construction, so this should be something like observe the room to find a culprit, or we can sneak around the room to find the culprit. So those are like the two different options. It's a work in progress, but now we can either try to observe or we can try to sneak. And Nara can help us sneak with a reroll of 2, and for observing we have nothing, and because of freezing we can only roll 3 dice instead of 5. But if we try to sneak, we still have quite nice dice, and it's just easy skill check, and we are still determined. Or we can try to observe, but that's really hard. But we do have really nice dice for observing. So Keith first said observe, but then forgot about freezing and suggesting us to sneak instead. Or forgot the freezing. And Keith didn't know how pineapples were such a hot commodity in Galzyr. Well, I'm not sure if they're always, but at least for now, in this one club. So let's go and sneak, and we're going to use two perception dice and a single thievery die, because we are dropped into the well and are really cold because of that. And we got 1. This has doubles, and well, this has a single, two singles, and so I think we are happy with that, and just reroll the 2 remaining dice with Nara. I think that should be good. So let's save that and reroll these and see if Nara can help us find the culprit. Well, she didn't didn't help at all. We still could reroll everything if we wanted to, and then if we rolled all blank, we could still use our determination to get the single success if we wish to try to get some more. Or we can just be happy with 1, depending on how greedy we are. Which of those options would you prefer, to be greedy and maybe getting more, or being happy with a single one? Collider says roll the dice, while Keith saying stick with 1, and again it's a tie, so Collider was first, so let's roll the dice. Let's try to sneak some more. Well, same outcome, a single one. I think we do not want to use the determined to get the second one. The major success is probably higher than 2. Usually you need 2 more, or even sometimes 3 or even 4 in some rare cases. Sometimes 1 is enough, but less likely so. Well, now it would have been enough. Oh well, we got 1. Kenji, don't fall, please. He's playing with the lights, and I fear he's going to fall them over. So we got 1. The room erupts in a flurry of shouted accusations, giving you the perfect opportunity to slink away and collect some evidence. From position near the back wall, you survey the room, quickly identifying 3 possible suspects. While everyone is clamoring to make their voices heard, a large striped polecat, a colorful yellow-throated toucan, and a pale-throated sloth are conspicuously in their seats. The sloth is even smirking. You return to Olamide and call for attention. You now have a list of suspects. You point. I'm apologize. This is kinda unfinished, but we should still be able to see what happens. You point to the 3 gentlefolk along with their butlers, a large striped polecat, a yellow-throated toucan, and a pale-throated sloth, and tell that one of them must be the culprit. The room grows silent, folk receding from the suspects. The beaver asks how they know who's the culprit. Olamide assures everyone that you, his capable adventure friend, will close the case. Well, we have 2 ways. We have 2 ways to close the case. We can either intimidate the suspects, which is hard, or we can try to figure out who the culprit is, and that's medium knowledge. Keith is saying that Olamide is more confident than he is. I think I can say the same for me as well. If we try to intimidate, do we have... Oh, Nara can at least try to help us intimidate. Again, rerolling 2 dice. But we have only these 2 plus 1 black base skill dice. And with figuring out, we have even worse dice, just this one. But it's a medium skill check, so 2 would be enough. For the intimidation, we would have to get the 3 with these dice, which is barely possible. But we still have the determination, which I think we are going to need here if we are determined to figure out who's the culprit. And Key says that we want to the success to try to figure out, so the knowledge skill check. We haven't tried anything knowledgeful yet, so let's try that. We have no knowledge skill marks, and those do not help, so we get 1 of those, actually 2 base ones, and this one. Our brain is also so frozen that it's hard to think straight. Let's see if we can do anything. And that's nothing. So let's reroll and hope for at least 1 success, which we could boost up to 2 with our determination. Ooh, that's 2. I don't know how we did it, but we actually got 2 successes, and again I think we want to save the determined status for later and just go with 2. You face your suspects and point calmly at the otter. He must be the culprit, you say, pointing at his mistresses, empty plate and glass. Everyone else's tableware is piled high with delicacies. And Kent is again trying to play with the lights. No butler would fail to perform such a basic task unless he was off doing something shady. A gasp fills the room as everyone realizes the truth. The sloth rises from her seat, placing her hand on her butler's shoulder. I think there was this scene hasn't been proofread yet, so it's saying otter in the first paragraph, but it should really be a sloth. The sloth rises from her seat, placing her hand on her butler's shoulder. We'll talk later, she hisses, as the pineapple is retrieved and returned to Olamide. The room... There's some cat is playing and distracting me. Fair that he's going to crash the lights. The room returns to normal as Olamir's beaver friend, impressed by your work, writes you a letter of favor for later. Well, we got again 1 prestige. We're doing really well. Usually it doesn't go as well. And then we're going asked to return the fertile for fame 1 to 1. Back to the library like that. And we are given a card number 216. Here's 216. Favor of elite. You want the trust of a person of high influence. Showing the letter to a correct person at the right time can make things a lot easier for you. Make it count. So we got it's a status card, so there's no limit on how many statuses we can have, and it has the elite tag here on the top, and it says that if invoked, discard. Well, let's see if we manage to find some way to use it. We are really full of these statuses. It's rare to have this many, and we are still sitting at only one item. And then finally, if we would have a partner, they would get a single prestige, and we're asked to take card 136 and then place that at the back of the quest slot. So I just did that, and as I already earlier showed, let's click here, end of scene. We just moved a card from here at the back of the quest slot, and new cards are always taken from the front to fill the notice board, and when it has empty spaces, and sometimes we are asked to place new ones at the back here. So once we have played enough, they will start to come up. So some news quest is coming up and later. Keith has to go now, but he'll try to watch the rest later, and looking forward to backing the game this summer. It was nice having you here. It's always fun when people interact and suggest on what to do, and I also look forward to the campaign, and I'm super glad if you choose to back us. That was end of that scene. We are going to move to Monday, both on the game board and here on the storybook as well. Messed up server a little bit. So now we have a few options again. We have the short lease quest that can be resolved in Chabar. There's also two quests that can be picked up from there. We can either move towards it slowly by moving 2. We could use our Vigorous status to get a single additional movement to get there in a single turn, or we could also visit some places in Sarevar. There are Metal Factory, Market, Museum and City Park. Keymaster is saying, oh no, not Monday. Well, new week begun. It's the last day that we are freezing, and also the last day that Nara is accompanying us, and we'll have to say goodbye to her after that. So if people don't disagree too much or object, I think we're just going to start slowly moving towards Chabar. We could use the Vigorous as well, but we can also use it during a scene if we have to force, intimidate or run. Keymaster is saying that we might want to visit some places. Okay, we can do that. Some of the places are quite unfinished, and unfortunately Sarevar is one of those, but somewhere we somewhere that we can go is the market. So let's go to the market. We also have 12 money, so we should be able to spend some of that to possibly get some new stuff. So that's scene number 8. Let's find scene number 8 here. Sareva's market is mainly known for its lively trade in mounts and draft animals, great for riding effortlessly from place to place, but there's plenty of other stuff for sale as well. Do we have a mount tag? No, we do not have. What would we like to browse for? We can either rent a riding animal, we can browse for weapons and camping equipment, books and apparel, or miscellaneous gadgets. Do we have does anyone have any hopes of what we might want to browse for? I think we don't need the riding animal right now. We are also vigorous, so we are quite fast on our own, and I would really like to fill up our inventory as we have two spaces left for items there. So I'd say that I want some new gear, and Keymaster says that gadgets sounds cool, so let's pick that. You're feeling curious today and decide to take a look at the selection of uncommon goods and gadgets at the market. And we are told to take card number 201 and 3 random 200s. So I'll take all 200s and 201. There's 201 and give a small shuffle. 200s, pick 3 at random, return the rest. And then we may purchase any number of these items by paying their value, and we may also sell our items for half of their value rounded up. And umbrella is our only item. Its value is here 6, so we would get 3 gold if we chose to sell the umbrella, but as long as we have space for it, I don't see a reason to sell it unless we need to purchase all or need more money. So we have 12 money, and let's see what's the easiest way to show all of these. So here we have some items. We have the monocle, which would help us in search, intimidate and unlock. It costs 7, so quite an expensive one. Then we have ear horn, which, let's focus, which would help us in sneaking, unlocking and observing. It's worth 6. And then we have lockpicks, which help us only in unlock, but they give us 3 successes if we unlock. But we would have to, each time we would have to roll the 12-sided die, and between 1 and 3 would have to discard, so they would break. They cost 5. So we could, and then finally we have assorted gear. Let's focus. Thank you. And if we purchase this, we would immediately have to discard this assorted gear and swap one of our skill marks for either perception or thievery. So we would be able to move one of these skill marks to perception or thievery, but we're already at full in perception, so our options would be to move either one perception to thievery or our survival skill mark to thievery if we wanted to move some of those. We always have just four skill marks, and we have an ability sometimes to shift them around to suit our playing style. I think I would really like to purchase the lockpicks. It would cost 5, and then we would have enough money to purchase either the monocle or the ear horn. Do you have any wishes on what you would like to purchase? We do not have enough money to purchase both the earhorn and the monocle. It would be 13 and we have 12. So we do have enough to purchase the lockpicks and something else with it. Keymaster is saying earhorn for rerolls, so let's go with those. So lockpicks and earhorn. Let's see if I move that still on screen. Get some more room for our stuff. So our inventory is full. That's 11, so we're left with just one gold. Well, at least we have space for if you get rewarded with gold. And for these two, I'll return them to the library like that. And yep, it asked here at the bottom to return the items we sold and did not purchase back to the library. And that's the end of market scene. Moving to Tuesday, and moving to Tuesday here as well. First we have freezing, says discard over here on the card, so we're going to return that. And then we have Nara, which unfortunately will leave our side now, and we'll discard her as well. Let's place those back. Freezing is 55 over there, and Nara is 281, like that. And then now we have, let's do this, and here's our quest in Chabar. I think we can still play a few rounds and then end the stream. Not going to play quite all the way to the end, but still few rounds, perhaps moving to Chabar and then meeting Gerald and seeing how we can do fit in this short lease quest. So now it's Tuesday, and let's move to the forest space between Chabar and Sarevar, draw an event card from the event deck and see if the prerequisites are met on the event cards. So at the top first it says Tuesday, and actually it is Tuesday. It's scene 119. I'll just have to look up really fast if that scene is done. Some of these are not, and unfortunately I'll have to disappoint you all, and we're not going to play the scene 119. It's not ready yet, so we'll have to go with the forest scene here, 59. 59 here. Cold sun showers leak from the summer sky, dripping down onto you through the branches of the forest you are in. Along the road that is taking you through the woods, you spot something up ahead. Drawing close to inspect it, you see it shred of fabric impaled on the limb of a bush. We have three options. We can either search the area, which is hard perception, but we are finally not freezing, so we can use all 5 dice again. And well, our items help us in convince, fight, explore, unlock, sneak, unlock, and observe. So nothing help, and our vigorous would help us force, intimidate, and run. So nothing helps with searching except our good dice. We can try to figure out what happened here. None of our cards help with that either. Outside of determined helps with both, or we can ignore the torn fabric. And if we search, each sent tag would give us a single success, but we do not have a sent tag. That would be Boomir's. It's just Boomir's one of his own tags is scent. So marbled pockets have a good sense of smell, so he would be able to search the area better, but we are not Boomir unfortunately right now. Keymaster asks, will there be a mode with no day limits so you can just explore the worlds as much as you like? The competitive game mode does not have a time limit, but it has a limit on when you get a certain number of prestige, someone is declared the winner and the game will end at that point. And the cooperative always has a time limit, but the game has a save system, something I haven't explained yet. So there's this another card tray. So the game will come with 2 card trays. One is for the cards that are used during the game. So this one that has a ton of cards. And then we have another one which has less cards, or if you leave the cards, you might have to put some in this second one as well. But right now I'm just holding save slots for the game in here. So each adventurer has their own save slot, and we also have a save slot for the my printer nearly died while printing, so that's why the stripes here. But this is the global save slot, and we will basically save the status of the game world itself here. So you don't have to feel pressure in that sense, because the game will always continue where you left off in the previous one. So all of this stuff here, our cards will go to my save slot, or I'd say AwSHUX save slot, and everything else, so these would go to AwSHUX save slot, and everything else here, all the cards on the game board that might get changed because of some stuff, all the global cards, all the notice board, quest deck, everything goes to the global save slot, so the next game will continue where the previous one left off. And that's why there's no really need for a game mode without a time limit, because the time limit is one way to move to the next month. And here we have the month card, and it has some save effect here at the bottom. It says that we have to replace this with a card number 6. This is number 5 from the library. So it will be the next month, and depending on which month it is, we are going to use either the summer side of the game board or the other side, which is winter side. Also, these cards are not yet, but they will be double-sided. So this will be a summer side, and then if you flip the game board on the other side, it will be a winter side, and there's different events, different stuff that happens based on the seasons. So that's why we want you to move on to the next game, to move on to the next month, which will have new stuff happening in the game. So it's the game itself has kind of no time limit at all. You can play it as much as you want, just 1 month has like a time limit until you should progress to the next month. I hope that kinda answered your question, and maybe even a little bit too much in detail, but I was planning on explaining that mostly at the end of the stream, but as you brought it into the attention, I wanted to talk about that a little bit right now. Where were we? So we're going to take the forest scene, or actually, yeah, we already started it, and Keymaster said that they didn't realize there were months, and it sounds exciting. Yeah, it's really fun to like play multiple games and see how the game evolves and what happens during different months, and how it affects the game world, and who you might meet because of that and stuff like that. And I think I wanted to say one more thing about that, but I'm not sure if I remember it anymore. Oh yeah, the saving is really simple, and you basically just place all these cards in your save slot, all these to the global save slot, and do all the save effects. But if there's also in the game, in the rules, there will be different rules based on if you want to play another game right now or another game later. So basically, if you play later, you're just doing full save, taking everything out back into the box in a specific way. Or if you want to play multiple games back to back, there's also really simple rules for that, in which case you don't have to put anything away, you keep everything like they are. Basically, you just remove time tokens, reset to the first to the new starting day from the book, and you're basically good to go. It's really super fast to just move to the next month and continue playing. So that's why there's time limit per game, but you can play as many games as you want back to back. Billy Indian says that they're glad they could watch for a couple of minutes during break, but have to head back to class now. Looking forward to learning more about the game in the future. Glad you had a chance to join us for a moment, and we have multiple playthroughs of the game already on our YouTube channel, where you're actually watching right now. So you can either come back and look at this later or go look at those earlier ones. But we have honed some small things, some tiny rules tweaks from the previous streams, so they do have some old stuff. For example, we did not have these quest tokens earlier, but during playtest we really saw the need for this. It's so much simple to see on the game board where the quest can be picked up, instead of referring to these all the time like Chabar or where is Chabar, it's here. Now you can just look at the game board, see where the quests are, and super simple. And I think I have rambled enough, and we can continue playing. So we are in the forest close to Chabar. We just left Chabar, and there's some rain coming down from the summer sky, which you might imagine not happening during winter. So this event, so the storybook knows what month it is. We told it at the beginning of the game, and it will do different stuff in different scenes based on month and also based on the day, as the storybook is keeping track of which day it is. Well, also one of the reasons we went with digital storybook, because then we can do some slight behind the scenes stuff to make the world even more alive than it would have been possible with the physical book, or it would at least be really fiddly to go through all the what month it is, what day it is, read paragraph this, and then move here and here. Now we can just click through the scene, and one of the main things that made us decide on the digital storybook is the fact that now you can't really spoil yourself. I see only stuff that I'm supposed to see. On many of the other storybook games, you can by mistake you can see some stuff that you didn't want to spoil yourself. So that's one of the reasons. It also makes it possible for us to price the game a little bit lower, because we don't have to include a 1000-page storybook and ask you to pay for the extremely expensive shipping of heavy books. But back to the game. We can either search the area, we can figure out what happened here, or we can ignore the torn fabric. And none of these are really easy for us, but we're still determined, which should help us if we are in a pinch. So if you don't object, I think we would like to at least I would think go searching. We are not that good at figuring out stuff. We are more like hawk, like a kingfisher, and observing. Observing is more our thing. Keymaster is saying that the app sounds like a smart choice, plus the box won't weigh a ton with all those cards. Yeah, well, the game already will come with like over 400 cards, so on top of that it would weigh even more with a huge book. And one final thing about the book is also you can use as many devices as you want, so each player could have their own tablet or phone or laptop or whatever you have with a web browser on it, and look through the scenes and read for so you don't even have to pass it on if you want. Or you can have a single tablet, like I really like to use a tablet to have, and then we can just easily pass this on and read the stories. And I'm not too fond of most of the app-based games myself, but as this is just a storybook, I'm totally fine. I don't really mind too much if I read the story from a paper or if I read it from a tablet. So let's go searching if you can find some hints of what this fabric is from. Let's see. We get these dice based on our skill marks, and we are trying to search, so we want to get the eye symbols, perception symbols. We got only one, and again our items do not help us in searching, and even two with determination is not enough for hard skill check. So let's reroll. Well, again, only one. Trying to like steal something, but there's nothing to steal here. We're just trying to search the area for clues. I think we're just going to accept failure here. Sweeping the area, you find footsteps leading to a beaten trail deeper into the woods. You try and follow it, but after hours of past, you have lost the trail, and a chill has set into your bones from the cold rain drizzling over you. We just got warm from our previous freezing. Frustration and sickness drive you back to the main road and to abandon your search for the source of the fabric. Well, this is the game where we are frozen to the bone from start to finish. So if you missed being frozen, well, we're frozen again. And let's take our penguins back and place them 3 days from now. You think that it would be not quite cold during winter, I mean during summer, but you can still get frozen if you go and look through a cold, weathered and rainy forest. And let's move to Wednesday and do the same here as well. And now we can move to Chabar, and we can pick up quests during our turn anytime when we are not in the middle of a scene. So during travel and after the scene. We are at Chabar, so why not? Let's pick both, and without going too deep into them, let's just see where they can be resolved. One is in Jedsten, so here in the mountain city, and the other one is back at Sarevar, where we just came from. So let's place those aside, return the drawn event, and let's fill up the notice board from the quest slot. One is in Sarevar and one is in Arhin, so let's move these like so. And now we could visit Market or Hot Springs, but I think we are here for our quest. Keymaster says that the fabric is cursed, so it seems maybe we'll come across some the fabric later, and then may be possible to figure out what's happening. And with items and quests we have a limit of 3 of both, so now we are at 3 quests, and if we would get a fourth one from the storybook or by picking up from the game board, we would have to abandon one of our current ones. And depending on the card, it always has abandon effect here at the bottom, and all our 3 current ones next to the crying little ocelot, you can see that all of these would be placed on the notice board. So if, for example, I would abandon this for any reason, it would go here on the notice board, and we have these extra quest tokens, and we would mark that again. Here's one in Chabar. So the notice board can have more than 3. It's not too common to have a lot of there, because it's only get refilled from the quest slot if it goes below 3. But we have multiple quest tokens if it happens. So now we are in Chabar, and we can resolve our short lease. So we're going to get rid of the a disturbing tenant by meeting with Gerald, the caretaker. So that's scene 46. And we're already quite close here. You are the one Garhos hired to evict the tenant. A young lynx asks why he sweeps the yard of an idyllic building. You confirm as much and ask where the uncooperative tenant is, pointing at the picturesque building behind him. An older polecat, she's a real piece of work, Gerald warns. Loud, harasses me and the neighbors. Has not paid her rent in a couple of months to boot. I don't care how, but I need you to get her out of there. What might be the best way to get her to leave before confronting her directly? And it's asking if we have a music tag. We do not have. We have pole, unfold, burglary, hurrying, etc. But no musical instruments. We have 2 options. We can either bang the walls or we can unlock the apartment's doors. Banging the walls wouldn't be too easy, and we don't have no equipment to help with that. But unlocking the apartment doors should be trivial with our lockpicks. They might break by using them, but I think we are ready to take the chance. Even if we can try first without the lockpicks, with our shaky wings because of the freezing. But if we do not get enough by just rolling the dice, we can always fall back to lockpicks and even the determination if we so wish. So I think we should definitely unlock some stuff. And let's just remove those basic skill dice because we are so cold, and roll these 3. That's nothing. Let's reroll. And that's still nothing. Oh well, let's use the lockpicks. We get 3 successes, but we are forced to roll the D12, and with 1, 2, or 3, our lockpicks will break. Let's not break our lockpicks. number 5, so we didn't break them. So we are 3 successes. You unlock the front door with some effort, then go around back to a garden and start unlocking a padlock on a tool shed. What are you doing on my property? An elderly polecat hisses at you from her back step. You explain to her you are simply demonstrating how unsecure this place is and how much could be at risk if real vandals decided to break in. Well, that's one way to try to convince someone to move away. You inform the polecat that she is at the risk of being evicted by the lawful owner of the property on the grounds of general unpleasantness and neglect of regular rental payments. If she wants to live here, she must pay rent. This is my home, she thinly growls, bearing long brittle fangs. I will not be driven from it. As you try to speak, she cuts you off. And you, sinking so low, working for that rotten noble, Karhos, and kicking the elderly out of their homes. Do we have injured tag? We do not have one. We are restless, upbeat, resolute, cold and weary, but not injured. Well, we have 3 options. We can either rationalize with her, or we can intimidate her, and third one would be leaving her. And what would you like us to do? Rationalizing is easy. We don't have great dice for it, and we only roll 3. Or we can try to intimidate her, and for that our vigorous could give us a single success. And that's about it. Oh, and all for a missed ear horn would have given us some rerolls for the unlocking as well. With determined and vigorous, we will get 2 success for the intimidation immediately. But Keymaster is saying, leave her, don't evict old people. Okay, let's let's do that. We do have the option to do so. A twinge of guilt plucks at your heart, and you realize you do not have it in you to evict the elderly polecat. You tell her you will not force her out of her home, but likely Karhos will send someone else if she does not start paying her rent. I know, dearie, I will try my best. An uncomfortable mix of emotions brew in you. Inspired by the polecat's conviction, you despair at the grim likelihood that she will soon be homeless. We get a single prestige, so we're at 6 right now. And we're asked to return the short lease 138 back to the library. We are given 57 and 61. And again, 61 is determined, so we would get that back. We are really frozen and determined in this game. And well, before showing that, let's take the 264 and place that back of the quest slot. 264 back of the quest slot, like that. And that's the end of scene. Let's move to Thursday, as long as we remember to do that. Here, our final day being frozen. And this is the card we got. Disheartened, worried and weary. With a heavy heart, your mind isn't as sharp as it should be. Mental tasks are highly taxing right now. In knowledge, communication and perception skill checks, we get a single failure. So this is like minus 1 if we try to do some mental tasks. Here, I think I've never had this many statuses, but here we go. And let's find something. Here's the pair for this panda. Kinda sad, black panda. And it was 3, but I already moved it, so I'll put it here in 2 days from now, and this as a reminder here. And Keymaster is glad that it was an option to leave her there. Yeah, we have always try to give all the meaningful options that there might be in a given situation, and even during playtests, if someone feels like I would really like to do thing X, then we can always update the scene, and that's even the case after the game has been released. We can still update the storybook. That one of the huge advantages. One of the huge advantages to having the storybook being digital is that if we did not add the leave her option already, and someone would like complain or tell us after they have bought the game that would really like the option to leave her in her apartment, we would be able to just add that in even after launch. So that's quite cool. And I think the stream has been now going like 2 hours, and I think it's quite a good spot to end, and we are disheartened and freezing, but at the same time vigorous and determined. So vigorous would remove exhausted, and determined would remove afraid, but we are not neither of those. So for the saving, we would take here. We have it says that we are asked to take the card number 0 from the library. So that one, as you might remember, is our soar in the sky. So we would get this back, and then we would other save stuff that we have here is like here in the freezing and disheartened both say discard. So we would remove those with imagine that we are ending the game. You would place these back to the library. Let's place 55 and 57, and then final save thing is here in the May card. We would replace it with number 6, and most of you probably would guess that it gets replaced by card June. Don't mind the placeholder text here, but it still says that use the summer side. And those are all the save effects that we have here, but I can just quickly show also that if the game would end like right now, then we would see here on the harmony card, it shows that we would have to take the scene number 200. And this is not haven't been written out yet, but I can still give you a sneak peek on how it would look like a story. Again, this can change based on what month you're playing, so you can see at least 12 different stories based on which month you're playing. Then it asks how many adventures there were in this game. Well, right now we're playing a solo game, so just click 1, and then it asks how much prestige we got. So if this would be the end and we would get no more, we would be sitting at 6. So we would like click here and there would be some more story. It would be not this short, but we haven't written this out yet. And then we would end the game and it would go back to the beginning. And now if we would choose to play another game, we would just start a new one. And now we're playing in June. Click next month and it will randomize our starting day to be Friday. We would move this Friday, move this to again, if you're playing alone, anyone could join our game right now or could leave our game. So, and they would just place this back to their save slots, or new player might come in and take their cards out of the save slots. So the game is really easy to get on the table because not everyone has to be in each game. You can play with 2 players, then some other person might join in, play with the 3, and then again with 2, or any way you wish. But now we would play again with the 2 with 1 player. So this would be again 12 spaces from our starting day, and we would be able to pick our starting location during setup. So I might want to begin my game at Arhin right now, so I would pick up quests. But on the other hand, I already have 2 quests. One is can be resolved in Yetsden and one in Sarevar. So I might want to start from Sarevar because it already has a single quest over there, and I have one that I can resolve there, for example. So basically, by moving to the next game, you can pick up your location again. You most of pretty much all the negative statuses go away because it's like next month and there are some days between the games thematically, and that's why the negative statuses go away, and you can pick your starting location again, like you move between those days, and then you're basically ready to start another game of Lands of Galzyr. And Keymaster said that giant cat attacks Galzyr. Yeah, on the game scale, Genji is huge, but in reality, he's a tiny one. Did you want to come and say hi to people? So that was Lands of Galzyr, and I'm going and do another stream tomorrow, and on that then we will be playing with another adventure, probably more the Frilled Lizard. And if you can join us and play with us again tomorrow, or you can look them up from the YouTube channel later. I thank everyone for joining in, and especially those who joined and played by making decisions with us. Hi Anton, and glad you could join, and thanks Keymaster for joining and as well. And hi to Goldie, you opened your mouth. Well, hope to see you next time, and have a good one. Bye.